Nathan Pierce stared at the holographic message floating above his desk, its blue light casting strange shadows across his cramped apartment in New Singapore. The corporate logo of Stellar Dynamics, one of the largest interstellar trading companies in known space, rotated slowly above the text. Your presence is required at Orbital Station 7 regarding an urgent matter of inheritance. Nathan ran his fingers through his disheveled dark hair, wondering if this was some elaborate scam. At 32, he was a mid-level programmer for a terraforming company, with no connections to anyone wealthy enough to leave him an inheritance. Yet the encryption signatures on the message were genuine. The next morning found him aboard a shuttle to the orbital station, his stomach churning from both the zero gravity and anticipation. The station's reception area was filled with beings from a dozen different species, but a tall, elegantly dressed woman with silvery skin immediately approached him. "Mr. Pierce, I'm Lyra, Chief Ambassador of the Stellar Alliance. Please follow me." Her voice had an ethereal quality, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Nathan noticed other visitors staring as they passed, some with obvious recognition of his companion. They entered a conference room where three beings waited: a human lawyer, a crystalline entity that served as a legal witness, and a holographic representation of what appeared to be a gas-based life form. The lawyer cleared his throat. "Mr. Pierce, 6 months ago, Chairman Roland Vale of Stellar Dynamics passed away. In his final testament, he named you as his sole heir." Nathan's world tilted. Vale had been one of the wealthiest individuals in known space, his company controlling trade routes across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. There must be some mistake. I never met Chairman Vale. The holographic being pulsed with soft light. No mistake. Roland Vale watched your career with great interest, particularly your work on ethical AI integration in terraforming projects. He believes you possessed the perfect combination of technical expertise and moral framework to lead his company. Lead his. Nathan's voice trailed off as the implications hit him. The entire company. The company, the estates on 7 planets, the private fleet, and... The lawyer glanced at Lyra, who stepped forward. "And a marriage contract with me, as per Stellar Alliance customs. I serve as both ambassador and your intended wife, arrangement designed to strengthen ties between humanity and the Alliance." Nathan's mouth went dry. "Marriage. I can't. This is." "This inheritance comes with conditions," the lawyer continued. "You must accept or decline the entire package within 24 hours. Partial acceptance is not possible. If you decline, everything goes to a consortium of Vale's former partners." The crystalline being chimed in, its voice like breaking glass. "Be warned. Those partners have already attempted to seize control. There have been 3 attempts to alter the will's quantum encryption, and 2 attempts on Ambassador Lyra's life." Nathan looked at Lyra, really seeing her for the first time. Behind her otherworldly beauty, he caught a glimpse of steel in her opalescent eyes. She met his gaze steadily. "I understand this is overwhelming, but time is critical. Vale chose you for a reason, though even I don't fully understand why. What I do know is that there are forces moving against us, and indecision could prove fatal." As if to emphasize her point, the station's alert system suddenly blazed to life. Red emergency lights bathed the room as a computerized voice announced, "Security breach in Section 7. Unauthorized armed personnel detected. All civilians please proceed to designated safety zones." The lawyer's face went pale. "They're here. They must have traced your shuttle." Lyra moved with liquid grace, drawing a weapon from somewhere in her flowing robes. "Mr. Pierce, I need your answer now. Once we leave this room, there's no turning back. Through the conference room's windows, Nathan could see figures in black combat suits moving across the station's central spine. His ordinary life suddenly felt like a distant memory. Looking at Lyra, he made his decision. I accept. All of it. Her lips curved in a slight smile as she tossed him a second weapon. Then, husband, shall we begin our honeymoon by surviving an assassination attempt? The crystalline being's surface flickered with alarm. Multiple hostiles approaching. Probability of survival decreasing rapidly. Welcome to the family business, Lyra said, taking position beside the door. I hope you're a quick study. As weapons fire began to echo through the station's corridors, Nathan checked the unfamiliar gun in his hands and realized his life would never be the same. Whatever game Vale had been playing by choosing him as heir, he was now a player whether he was ready or not. Laser fire sizzled past Nathan's head as he and Lyra raced through the station's maintenance tunnels. Their pursuers' footsteps echoed behind them, drawing closer with each passing moment. Any other surprises I should know about? Nathan gasped, following Lyra's graceful movements through the cramped space. Several. Lyra's silver skin seemed to shimmer in the emergency lighting. Vale's partners didn't just want the company. They're after something called Project Nexus. Vale never told anyone what it was, but he encrypted its location in your genetic code. In my what? Nathan nearly missed a step. How is that even possible? Quantum DNA encryption. Your genome is literally the key to whatever Vale was protecting. Lyra paused at an intersection, her otherworldly senses extending beyond human perception. Left. They emerged into a hangar bay where a sleek ship waited, its hull gleaming like liquid metal. The Starweaver, Lyra announced. Wedding gift from Vale. The ship's boarding ramp descended at their approach. Inside, the bridge came alive with holographic displays. Nathan's eyes widened as he recognized the operating system. It was based on his own terraforming A designs. Vale didn't just watch my career, he realized. He was preparing for this. Incoming. Lyra's warning came just as explosion rocked the hangar. Through the viewport, Nathan saw armed figures pouring in, led by a tall man whose cybernetic enhancements gleamed menacingly. Dominic Thrace. Lyra spat the name like poison. Vale's former security chief. He thinks Project Nexus belongs to him. The ship's AI spoke in a familiar voice, Nathan's own terraforming system. Multiple weapons locked on our position, shields at maximum. Nathan's fingers flew across the controls, applying skills he didn't know he had. How do I know how to fly this? Neural imprint in the inheritance package, Lyra explained, sliding into the weapons station. Vale left you more than just assets. He left you knowledge. The Starweaver lifted off as Thrace's forces opened fire. Energy beams splashed against their shields, while Lyra returned fire with surgical precision. The hangar bay doors began to close. They're trying to trap us, Nathan muttered, then smiled as he found what he was looking for in the ship's systems. But they don't know what this ship can do. The Starweaver's hull rippled, quantum fields bending space around them. They phased through the closing doors like they were made of smoke, emerging into open space. Pursuit vessels launching, the AA announced. 5 signatures, heavily armed. Lyra's hands danced across her console. We can't lead them to the Vale estate. Too many innocent lives at risk. Then we give them something else to chase. Nathan engaged the quantum drive, the stars blurring around them. We need answers. Why did Vale choose me? What's Project Nexus? And why are you really here, Lyra? His new wife's opalescent eyes met his. I served as Vale's advisor for 50 years. He was more than just a businessman. He was protecting humanity from something the Alliance fears." She paused. "And now that duty falls to us." "Incoming transmission," the AI interrupted. "From Director Thrace." The ex-security chief's augmented face appeared on their main screen. "Mr. Pierce, the woman beside you is not what she seems. Vale was a fool to trust the Alliance. Surrender now, and I'll ensure your death is quick." "Counter-offer," Nathan replied, surprising himself with his steadiness. "Leave us alone, and I won't have to show you exactly why Vale chose me." Thrace laughed. "You're a programmer who got lucky. You're nothing." "No," Lyra interjected, her voice cold. "He's my husband, and you just made a terrible mistake." Nathan's fingers flew across the controls, executing a maneuver that should have been impossible. The Starweaver's quantum fields inverted, creating a cascade of spatial distortions that engulfed their pursuers. When space normalized, Thrace's ships were scattered across 3 different sectors. "How did you?" Lyra started. Vale's neural imprint included tactical data, but the execution, that was all me. Nathan set course for deep space. "I may not have asked for this life, but I'm starting to understand why Vale chose me. He didn't want someone who could just run his company. He wanted someone who could see patterns others missed." Lyra's expression softened. "And what patterns do you see now, husband?" "That this is bigger than inheritance or marriage contracts. Vale was building something, a defense against some coming threat. Project Nexus is part of it. And so are you." He met her gaze. "The question is, can I trust you?" "Trust is earned," she replied. "But know this, everything I've done has been to protect both our peoples. The real war hasn't even begun." As they accelerated toward the unknown, Nathan realized he was starting to see Vale's grand design. The company, the marriage, Project Nexus, they were all pieces of a puzzle. And somewhere in his inherited memories and encrypted DNA lay the key to humanity's survival. Multiple alarms suddenly blared. The A's voice was urgent. "Unknown energy signature detected. Massive quantum disturbance ahead." Through the view screen, space itself seemed to tear open, revealing something that shouldn't exist. Lyra's silver skin paled further. "It's starting," she whispered. "They're here." The tear in space pulsed with impossible colors as the Starweaver hung motionless before it. Through the quantum rift, massive shapes moved like shadows beneath ice. "The Void Harbingers," Lyra breathed. "Vale discovered them decades ago, but the Alliance refused to believe him." The ship's AI projected a series of encrypted files, Vale's personal logs. Nathan's inherited memories provided the decryption key. Project Nexus wasn't a weapon, he realized. It's a shield. Vale found a way to seal the rifts. But he needed both human innovation and Alliance technology to make it work. Lyra added, "That's why he arranged our marriage. I'm not just an ambassador. I'm the last surviving member of the Ancient Guard, keepers of quantum manipulation technology." More rifts were opening across the sector. Through their quantum comms, they heard distress calls from a dozen worlds. The Harbingers were launching a full invasion. "Friss and his forces are the least of our problems now," Nathan muttered, accessing more of Vale's encrypted memories. "The genetic key, it's not just data. Vale encoded the quantum frequency that can seal the rifts into my DNA. And your Ancient Guard technology is the only thing that can amplify it. A bridge between our species." Lyra's silver eyes widened. "Vale didn't just choose you for your skills. Your genetic structure was compatible with both the quantum frequency and alliance tech. 1 in billions. The ship shuddered as reality warped around them. Through the rifts, the harbingers began to emerge, massive crystalline entities that devoured light itself. Their very presence caused spatial distortions that could tear planets apart. "We need to get to the Vale estate," Nathan said, plotting a course. "The amplification array is hidden there, but we'll never make it through the Harbinger fleet." Lyra's hand found his. "Together we might." The ancient guard had one more secret. Her silver skin began to glow with quantum energy. "We can merge our consciousness through the ship's systems. Your genetic key, my amplification powers, and the Star Weaver's quantum drive. That's why the ship responds to both of us," Nathan realized. It was designed for this moment. They had no time to prepare. The Harbingers had detected them, reality warping weapons powering up. Nathan and Lyra linked their minds through the ship's neural interface. The universe exploded into infinite possibility. Nathan saw through Lyra's quantum senses, felt the fabric of space itself. She accessed his inherited memories, understanding Vale's master plan. Together, they were something entirely new. The Star Weaver transformed around them, its hull resonating with their combined power. They phased through Harbinger attacks, their joined consciousness calculating quantum trajectories that shouldn't have been possible. Through their merged awareness, Nathan finally understood the full scope of Vale's plan. He knew they were coming. Everything, the company, the technology, us, it was all preparation for this moment. "Look!" Lyra's consciousness merged with his, showing him something incredible. The Harbingers weren't just invading. They were running from something even worse. As they raced toward the Vale estate, carrying the seeds of humanity's salvation in their combined form, Nathan and Lyra realized their story was about to become legend, the tale of how an unexpected inheritance saved 2 civilizations. But first, they had to survive the next hour. More rifts opening, the A warned. Harbinger capital ships detected. Estimated survival probability, 17%. Nathan felt Lyra's smile through their link. "Then let's make every percent count." The Vale estate sprawled across an artificial moon, its quantum-forged spires reaching into the starlit void. As the Star Weaver approached, Nathan and Lyra maintained their neural link, their merged consciousness the only thing keeping them ahead of the Harbinger fleet. The amplification array is hidden beneath the central tower. Lyra's thoughts merged with Nathan's. But Thrace's forces have already landed. They're trying to access the vault. Through the estate's security feeds, they watched Thrace's cybernetically enhanced soldiers cutting through Vale's defenses. The ex-security chief had brought an army, determined to claim Project Nexus for himself. He doesn't understand what he's dealing with, Nathan projected, their shared consciousness analyzing the situation. If he disrupts the quantum frequency, the rifts will become permanent. They landed the Star Weaver in a hidden hangar, their merged awareness allowing them to bypass the estate's formidable security. As they moved through the corridors, their synchronized movements were like a deadly dance. Thrace's voice echoed through the estate's comm system. "I know you're here, Pierce. Your wife's ancient guard powers won't save you. The Harbingers are just the beginning. There's profit in chaos, and I mean to collect." "He's working with someone else." Lyra's thoughts rippled with concern. "These quantum signatures. There's a traitor in the Alliance Council." They rounded a corner to find a squad of Thrace's soldiers. Before the enemies could react, Nathan and Lyra moved as one. Her quantum powers merged with his inherited combat knowledge, making them virtually unstoppable. Through their link, Nathan accessed more of Vale's memories. The vault isn't just below us. It extends into quantum space. That's why Thrace can't breach it. He needs both our genetic key and ancient guard technology. A massive explosion rocked the estate. Through the windows, they saw more Harbinger ships emerging from rifts, their reality-warping weapons turning space itself inside out. Time's running out, Lyra projected. The rifts are becoming self-sustaining. Soon, not even Project Nexus will be able to close them. They reached the central tower's core, only to find Thrace waiting with his elite guard. The cybernetic mercenary's augmented eyes glowed with malicious intent. Beautiful setup Vale created. Thrace sneered. The perfect merger of human and alliance potential. But he didn't see the bigger picture. The Harbingers aren't invaders. They're customers. Do you know what they're willing to trade for safe passage through our space? They're refugees, Nathan realized through their shared consciousness. Running from something worse, and you're planning to profit from their desperation. The Alliance Council member you're working with, Lyra's mental voice was cold. It's High Commissioner Vex, isn't it? He's been pushing for isolation, letting the human worlds fall to secure Alliance territory. Thrace's smile was metallic. Smart girl. Vex understands the future belongs to those who control the rifts. Project Nexus won't close them. It'll stabilize them. Permanent tunnels between realities, with us as the gatekeepers. The estate shuddered as reality warped around them. The Harbingers were getting closer, their very presence causing quantum instabilities. Through their neural link, Nathan and Lyra formulated a desperate plan. The vault wasn't just a storage facility. It was a quantum computer of unprecedented power, designed to calculate the exact frequency needed to seal the rifts permanently. But activating it would require something neither Vale nor the ancient guard had foreseen, a complete merger of human and Alliance consciousness, burning out both participants' minds in the process. As Thrace's forces opened fire and the Harbingers descended upon the estate, Nathan and Lyra faced a terrible choice. Save themselves and watch two civilizations fall, or sacrifice everything to ensure a future for both their peoples. In their shared mind, no words were needed. They had already chosen. The vault doors began to open, quantum energy cascading around them. The final confrontation was about to begin, and the fate of multiple realities hung in the balance. The vault's quantum core pulsed with impossible energies as Nathan and Lyra, their consciousness still merged, initiated the final sequence. Around them, reality itself seemed to bend and warp. Thrace's forces opened fire, but they moved as one through the chaos, their combined powers deflecting attacks while they worked. The cybernetic mercenaries' augmented systems struggled to track their synchronized movements. You can't activate Project Nexus, Thrace snarled. The power surge will tear this sector apart. No. Nathan/Lyra spoke in unison, their merged voice resonating with quantum harmonics. Vale designed it perfectly. The rifts will seal, but the cost. They shared a final private thought between them, accepting their fate. Above the estate, the Harbinger fleet had arrived in force. Their crystalline ships distorted space-time, creating cascading reality fractures. Through their link, Nathan and Lyra sensed High Commissioner Vex's ships approaching as well, ready to claim whatever survived the chaos. The vault's core began to align with their combined consciousness. Vale's genetic key in Nathan's DNA merged with Lyra's ancient garb powers, creating something entirely new. They were no longer simply human and Alliance, but a bridge between realities. Even if you seal the rifts, Thrace raised his quantum disruptor. There will always be more like me, more rifts, more profit in chaos. You're right, they responded, quantum energy coursing through them. That's why Project Nexus isn't just about closing rifts. It's about evolution. The Vault's true purpose became clear through their merged awareness. Vale hadn't just built a defense system, he created a template for transformation. As their consciousness fully merged with the quantum core, Nathan and Lyra's combined form began to change. Energy cascaded through the estate as Project Nexus activated. The rifts began to close, but something else was happening. The quantum frequency wasn't just sealing breaches in reality, it was rewriting the laws that governed them. Friss fired his disruptor, but the blast passed harmlessly through their transformed state. They had become something beyond physical form, a living quantum equation that bridged multiple realities. Through their transcendent awareness, they reached out to the Harbinger fleet. Not as enemies, but as guides. The crystalline beings had been running for eons, seeking sanctuary. Now they offered them something more, a way to evolve beyond the need for physical space. High Commissioner Vex's betrayal dissolved as his fleet encountered the quantum transformation wave. Barriers between species began to fade as Project Nexus rewrote the fundamental patterns of existence. Nathan and Lyra's individual consciousness began to fade, merging with the new quantum reality they had helped create. Their final gift was understanding, between humans and alliance, between refugees and gatekeepers, between all forms of life across multiple dimensions. They had become what Vale had envisioned, not just guardians or rulers, but catalysts for a new age of existence. Their love story had transcended physical form, becoming part of the quantum fabric that now connected all realities. As their consciousness dispersed into the transformed universe, they left behind a legacy greater than any inheritance, the end of isolation between species and dimensions, and the beginning of something far more extraordinary. In the centuries that followed, their story would be told across 1,000 worlds and dimensions. Not as a tale of loss, but as the moment when the barriers between all forms of existence finally fell, and the true age of unity began. The universe had changed forever, and somewhere in the quantum chorus of existence, two souls danced eternal among the stars they had helped transform.